My name's Timothy Peachey. This is Donkeywell Farm, which is 700 acres and it's all organic. Has been organic since 1992 when we started converting. So yeah, we've been in the game for quite a while now. So this is a family farm. We've been farming here since the 1970s when my dad took the farm on. We are on a standard AHA tenancy agreement. Our landlord is the Ernest Cook Trust at Fairford, who are very encouraging to keep the generations going. I'm currently the second generation and I hope one of my children will take it on. Currently the only livestock we have on the farm are these sheep behind me, which are tack sheep. The rest of it is all cropped, so purely an arable farm. We basically grow wheat, barley and oats, which is a 5-year rotation. So once we've done the 3 cropping, we then undersow and have a 2-year clover lay. This is a red clover lay which we sowed this time last year in April. And as you can see, it's doing quite well at the moment. The sheep seem to be enjoying it. This was undersown under oats, a variety called Canyon. The field we're standing in currently here is probably one of my better fields, certainly up by the farm buildings there. It gets quite silty loam, so it's actually quite nice there. But down this end is quite brushy, and as we move further away, we get into the clays and the heavier ground. So it's a real mix. Every field tends to has patches are good and patches are bad, so it makes it very interesting for farming. We have 2 different types of clover lays. We have our red clover lay, which this field is, and we also have the white clover lays. We tend to rotate between the 2. That's to stop any disease build-up on the red clovers. You can get a bit of a red clover disease which can cause problems, and once you've got it, it can be quite tricky to get rid of. So by rotating the system, it gives us a sort of 8 years between each different type, so there's plenty of time for any of that disease to disappear and stuff. In the organic system, we use clover. Basically, we want to encourage the root system on the clovers, because there are little nodules in the root system that fix nitrogen from the air into nitrites, and that builds our nitrogen levels up in the soil, ready for the crops. We use 2-year lay because it just gives a bit extra time to get that all going and growing. We like to stress the clover during its growing season to encourage the root growth, so that it gets more roots down there and gets more nodules. We also do sell the straw and exchange that for mushroom compost, or PAS 100, which is composted green waste, and that goes on after the second year of the clover lay and gets ploughed in prior to any cropping. We undersow into the crop. Traditionally, many years ago, about 10 years ago, we used to start sowing into the barley crop when about 3-4 leaf stage. However, due to the barley canopy being quite short, we found we got quite a weed problem. We get a lot of thistles, cooch and docks, which can cause troubles. So I decided about 10 years ago to try it under oats. It's quite critical what time you sow, so hopefully in the next week or 2 I shall be undersowing my oats. I have to wait till at least a 3-leaf stage, if not 4, but you don't want them sort of too far in advance, or 5 and 6 leaf stage, because the canopy gets closed up. So we'll go in with a harrow tine with a spinner on the back. We'll do 6-metre strips up and down the field, which has the advantage of ripping out any weed seeds we've got while sowing underneath. I will then go in with a flat roll. I have a 6-metre flat roll to compress the seed into a nice firm seed bed. This then, hopefully, if we get some decent rain, we'll get the clover established underneath the oats. That basically, hopefully, will sit there until we harvest. Once we've harvested, of course, you take the canopy off, the clover then gets away, and hopefully we get a good seed like we have here in this field here. Livestock are a useful part of the rotation system because A, it saves a lot of mowing and topping, and also it does actually stress the plants out and spread a bit of manure around the field nicely. It makes the nutrients more readily available when we come to cropping, and it's also nice to have around, see the lambs jumping around the fields. But yeah, it's an important part of the organic system. It's not vital, but it does help. Yeah, the livestock do very well on these crops, especially the red clover. The red clover tends to have better sugars in it, and it grows a lot more vigorous. We tend to use the white clover for when they're tupping, because the one problem with the red clover is the estrogen levels in the crop can cause problem with with fertility and bits and pieces in the sheep. So we tend to put the ewes onto white clover a good month before they go to tup, so that we get a good success with the lambing. Normally by September, October, if we've had some decent weather, the clover lays can be lightly grazed by the sheep. So we will get the sheep onto them just lightly, just to take the tops off, just to encourage a bit more growth. Right, Cotswold seeds, we've been working with them for many years now, probably 20 odd years, if not plus. Never had a problem. They've always delivered earlier than they say, which is great. They're always very helpful on the phone. I mean, I always speak to Sam and he's more than helpful and gives brilliant advice of what we should and didn't do. And we try and tweak the mixes to fit. But as I find that the white clover mixes that we've had from Cotswold seed have been the best I've had. I have tried other people in the past and not had successful results. So I'm very happy with the mixes I get. As I say, the service is very best. And I like the bags as well, they're very useful for afterwards.